Hey everybody, Chris O'Mealy here, and thank you all for tuning in to the premiere episode of my brand new podcast called Jersey Rain. Yes, Jersey Rain, nickname given to me by my buddy Mark Adams, who I work with at Universal Studios. It's related to my unique way of dealing with situations when I get angry, or as he says, bringing down the Jersey Rain. Because being from New Jersey, apparently I have a big temper. This, of course, originated in New Orleans when a guy on a bicycle cut me off, and I kinda cursed him out. Not really. I didn't really curse him out. I kinda cursed under my breath. But Mark designated that Jersey Rain from there on out, and, well, I don't know, can I tell you, the name stuck. But anyway, this is my brand new podcast. This is called Jersey Rain. A much different show than the other shows that I do. Maybe you listen to the Club Kayfabe podcast. That's a show I do with Pat McDermott and Dan Peck, all about the wrestling that happened during the week. But it's a lot more than that. That show has grown exponentially since we started in May 2013. It's gotten very interactive with the fans. We do contests and things like that. It's really grown. It's really become big. It's something I'm really proud of. The other show I started at the beginning of 2015 was Talkin' Talkies. I did that with Dan Peck. That is our movie podcast. Dan and I watch a movie each week and we review it. We take fan requests, we do theme months, we do all sorts of stuff, but I digress. This is a different type of show. This is going to be an interview format show, something I'm really excited about starting. Now, who am I going to interview? Who could I possibly interview? Well, the answer is simple. I'm going to interview you. Yeah, you. You listening to the show right now. You're the one I want to interview. So here's what I was thinking going into this. I'm a big fan of people's stories. I like to hear what people have to say. I think that ordinary people have some of the best stories in the world. And I happen to know some amazing people that I am honored and privileged to call my friends, and they do such cool stuff in their lives. They have cool jobs, things like that. I want to interview them. Or you. Because if you're listening to this, you're probably a friend of mine. I want to interview you. That's the name of the game here, guys. That's the idea. To interview you. To have you tell your story. So what's your story? Well, let's see. Do you work at a cool job? Something that you're really proud of and you'd really love to brag to people about? That could be something we could discuss. Are you involved in a charity or a group or an organization, something you're super passionate about and you want to discuss on here? Great, we can talk about that. We want you to tell your story. I know so many people who do cool things. Obviously, I have a pro wrestling background, being a ring announcer starting in 2005, so I know a lot of wrestlers, and I'm sure I'll interview them, but, you know, it's more than just, oh, this guy, he was a pro wrestler for X amount of years. Well, they do other stuff too. It's cool to talk to guys who were referees, guys who also did announcing gigs, guys who did backstage work, guys who promote shows. You know, there's more than that. How about my broadcasting background? I've got tons of friends that are in the film industry now. They make movies, they work on television shows, they meet all kinds of interesting people. Like, these are really cool topics that we could be discussing on here, and that's what I want to accomplish with this show. The Jersey Rain podcast, a little bit different than the blog I write, also called Jersey Rain, is going to be an interview-style format show, and I want to talk to you. And I want you to tell your story. Now, I've already talked to a lot of people about this. A lot of people are excited about it. They're lined up. They're ready to do it. And the cool thing about this type of show is there's not going to be a set schedule for any of this. So you don't have to worry about, oh, well, he records every Thursday, and I need to be available on that Thursday. No. We're going to do this when you're available. So if I don't do another episode for 2 weeks, I don't do another episode for 2 weeks. That's just the way that it is. If I do 3 episodes in a week, hey, great, 3 episodes in a week. We're going to work on your availability, and that's going to be the key here. So if you've got a story to tell, get in touch with me. I want to interview you. I mean, and there's so much more we can talk about. There's so much cool stuff happening. I'm sure you guys all saw the new Star Wars trailer. I know I've watched it at least, I don't know, 100, 200, 300 times, but who's really counting, right? Force Awakens comes out in December. Really excited about that. Sure you guys know I'm a huge Star Wars buff. I actually love Star Wars as much as I love pro wrestling and The Simpsons. That's saying a lot. And I'm really excited about this movie. I'm really excited to see what they do. I know that the extended universe is kind of being not necessarily erased or thrown away, but kind of pushed to the side. They're kind of creating their own canon here. Some fans are upset about that, but I'm not really upset about it. There's a lot of good that came with the extended universe, but there's also a lot of crap that was there too, so by eliminating the extended universe, you have this new chance to build up your own official new canon, and who knows, it might be better. I'm going into this with a very open mind. I'm really excited about that. Spectre's coming out in November. That, of course, is the new James Bond movie. Daniel Craig has 2 Bond films left on his contract. This is going to be Spectre. Then he's got 1 left, and then he doesn't want to do it anymore. I'm a little disappointed because I really like Craig as Bond, but, you know, if he's not interested, he's not interested. You know, like, there's so much to talk about that's going on right now, but obviously the real name of the game here is going to be to talk to you, to tell your story, to talk about your job, something interesting that you do, tell us stories, tell us something, a hobby that you do that is really interesting. I know so many interesting people, and I can't sell it enough. I've always been a person who's more interested in other people than myself. And I know some people are going to be like, "Oh, that's impossible to not have that ego." Yeah, but it's true. You know, I've never always found myself to be the most interesting person in the world, so I like to hear other people's stories. And some people think I'm interesting. Hey, great, thanks, guys. I very much appreciate that. Sometimes I wonder what's wrong with you when you say that. But I digress. I'm not here to bury myself. I really want to roll with this show as soon as possible, so if you guys are listening and you're interested and you're like, hey, there's something cool we could talk about, get in touch with me and support podcasts. They're growing big time. A lot of my friends are doing them. I got my buddies Chris and Matt doing shows from a hat where they review shows on the WWE Network. They just literally draw them from a hat. Pick a show, watch it. Joey Image is doing his one-man show right now called That Image Guy. He's getting a lot of views with that. Podcasting is really starting to be the norm, and everybody can do them, but it takes a special kind of person to really, really be good at them. And I know that I've only been doing them now for about 2 years, but it's such a natural thing now. I actually got kind of nervous before I started recording this one just because I'm talking by myself, and you know, it's kind of weird just to talk to yourself. I don't have an interview topic for the first one. I could interview myself, but, you know. So it's a little weird to be doing it like this, but it's still something I'm really excited about. I'm very happy to get this going. I'm not going to let this go too much longer, obviously, because it's just me talking. No one really wants to hear that. But there's no set schedule for this. There's no set time limit. You know, you're not going to come on. I'm going to be like, okay, you only have 30 minutes to talk. No, we're going to talk as long as you want. I'm going to try not to let the shows go too long. Probably try to keep them under an hour, hour and a half tops. Club Kayfabe for a while had a big problem where we would go really, really long. We had 2-hour shows, 2.5-hour shows, and that's just too much for me to handle. I like the format we do now. We go roughly about an hour, hour and a half, and that's the important stuff. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. This, of course, is going to be the pilot episode, and a little bit of trivia for you. Did you know that pilot is the most common episode title for the first episode of a TV series? That's true. Think about that. I know the smart people listening are going to be like, and the dumb people are going to be like, wait, what? But, yeah, all right. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning into the pilot. This will be the Jersey Rain podcast. Again, you got a story to tell. I want to tell your story. So get in touch with me. We can talk about stuff that's going on, and we can have fun, because that's the name of the game, is to have fun. So stick around, guys. Jersey Rain podcast is now on the air, and I'm ready to interview you.